Welcome to the movie Spider-Man Homecoming. After the battle in New York, Adrian Toomes and his rescue company are contracted to clean up the city. But their operations are now undertaken by the Department of Damage Control, DODC. At this time, television also reported on the joint venture between Stark Corporation and the federal government. Toomes was angry at being kicked out of the business. He convinced his staff to keep the Shitori technology they had picked up. 8 years later, they used it to make weapons and then sold it for profit. Toomes used a suit with mechanical wings forged from Shitori technology. At this time, Peter Parker made a small video as a souvenir. They gave him an upgraded Spider-Man suit. Parker put on the suit and stole Captain America's shield and threw it at him. When Peter Parker meets Mr. Tony Stark, he invites Parker into the Stark internment camp. And Parker was brought into the Avengers by Stark to help resolve an internal dispute in Berlin. But Parker continued his education at the Mito School of Science and Technology. Here Parker has his best friend named Ned. At this time Parker accidentally met a senior Liz and Parker fell in love with her. During class, Parker researched his spider silk. Parker withdrew from the school's pentathlon team to spend more time focusing on his crime-fighting activities as Spider-Man. When school was over, Parker jumped through the school gate to get out. Outside of classroom hours, Parker is Spider-Man and he hovers around the street. At this point Parker saw a bicycle robber. Parker stopped him and hung him up with spider silks. Not seeing the owner of the car, he used a pen to make notes on the paper. Parker even showed an elder the way. Parker then called Happy and reported on his activities today. That night Parker discovered masked ATM robbers. Robbers use modern weapons and get money easily. At this point Parker went in to confront the robbers. This time they used modern weapons to attack Parker. It didn't take long for Parker to defeat the ATM robbers. Then the store opposite also caught fire. Parker jumps inside and saves people out. And when he went back to get the backpack, Parker had lost it. Then he went back to the apartment. Although Parker had cleverly entered the house by the window. But his best friend Ned eventually discovered his secret identity. Parker tells Ned to keep it a secret, especially not to tell Aunt May. If Aunt May knew, she wouldn't let him do it anymore. Ned agrees to keep Parker a secret. While the two of them were having dinner, news of the ATM robbery was broadcast on television. At this time Aunt May said to Parker, "If you encounter such things, you should turn around and run." The next day Ned is always curious about Spider-Man, who is also Parker. Even during class, Ned asked Parker, "Can you spit venom, summon spiders? And how far can you shoot the spider silk?" During PE class, after listening to Liz's conversation, Ned accidentally said that Parker knows Spider-Man. Flash comes over and tells Parker, "It's going to be interesting, you should invite your friend Spider-Man too." Because Ned had accidentally told Parker to know Spider-Man, that night the two of them went to Liz's party together. Parker is now mocked by Flash in front of the crowd when they don't see Spider-Man appear. Parker then changed into a spider suit to appear as a guest. But he accidentally detects an explosion in the distance. And Parker decided to leave Liz's party to find out about the explosion. At this point Parker stumbles across Toomes' associates who are selling weapons to local criminal Aaron Davis. Parker shows up and is knocked away by him. But Parker still managed to follow their car. While trying to chase the car, Toomes appeared in a vulture suit and caught Parker and flew away. The automatic parachute in Spider-Man's suit opened and made Parker fall into the lake. Parker nearly drowned after getting stuck in a parachute. Fortunately, Stark came to the rescue in time. Stark then warned Parker not to get involved with the criminals. Parker then picked up a weapon that Toomes' group had dropped. At this point Toomes got angry and told them, "How many times have I told you not to open fire in public?" Then Toomes kicked him out of the team. Next he said to Toomes, "For what I know, let's see if you dare to fire me." Then Toomes accidentally killed him with one of their weapons. and make Schultz the new shocker, and Toomes asks him to find the lost weapon. At this point, Parker and Ned research the weapon they picked up. Parker removed its power core. At this point, a pulse detector of Schultz's energy led him to the school. Parker and Ned were lucky to escape. At this point, Parker quickly attached a tracking device to Schultz's body. Parker and Ned stayed up day and night just to monitor Schultz's device. Schultz's tracker told him he was stopping in Maryland. The next day, Parker rejoined the pentathlon team, and he accompanied them to Washington, D.C. for their national tournament. That night, Ned and Parker disable the tracking device that Mr. Stark wears in his Spider-Man suit, and at the same time unlock its advanced features. After leaving the room, Liz asked Parker to go swimming together, but Parker refused. Parker then jumped down from above and hitchhiked the cars on the road, and Parker finally reached the whereabouts of the arms dealers. At this point, Parker is still not quite proficient with the advanced features of the suit. Parker wasn't familiar with web shooting devices. At this moment, Toomes began to appear and anchor on the last truck to break into the interior of the vehicle. When he got inside, Toomes took a lot of weapons there. However, Toomes was stopped by Parker from taking the weapon bag. But Parker got stuck inside the car. When he tried to get out, he hit his head on the top of the barrel and passed out. When Parker regained consciousness, he found himself in a warehouse of the Department of Damage Control. Parker tried to pry open the door to get out, but couldn't. At this time, he uses spider silk as a resting place. When locked inside, Parker was always exploring the features of the suit. Parker discovers the power core is a Shitori grenade. At this point, Parker took the phone to call Ned to talk about this, but he did not answer. By this time, Parker had missed the pentathlon. Ned then went with the group to the Washington Monument. At this point, when everyone climbed to the top floor, the bomb began to explode and caused the elevator to stop working. At this point, Parker tries to climb as fast as possible. Parker tried to use all his strength to break the bulletproof glass to get inside. Parker also arrived in time and caught the elevator while it was falling. Parker saves them, including his classmates and Liz, who he secretly loves. Parker tells Ned that the guy with the wings is stealing from the bad guys and he's taking what he steals to make weapons. At this point, Michelle said she just likes to come here to draw people in crisis. Then she pulled up a drawing. Parker then returned home and used the suit to review the entire firearms sale that day. Thanks to the suit's features, Parker found the location of Aaron Davis. Parker went to Davis's place and convinced him to reveal Toomes' whereabouts. But Davis didn't know anything about Toomes, but he knew he was going to do a deal on the Staten. Parker then rushed to the Staten Ferry Islands to stop the transaction. At this time, Parker sent the baby spiders to find a white pickup. Here is a complete collection of all weapons, both buyers and sellers. At that moment, Mr. Stark called and praised Parker. But Parker lied to Mr. Stark that he was practicing music, then immediately turned off the phone. And he appeared before them, using spider silk to control them all. At the same time, the FBI also appeared and told everyone to lie down on the floor. At this moment, Toomes appeared in a vulture suit and rushed towards Parker. At this time, Toomes held a gun and shot wildly at the FBI and Parker. Parker then used his spider silk to grab Toomes' gun. Toomes left the damaged weapon on the ship and escaped. But this weapon was so dangerous that it tore the ship in half. Parker tried to use his spider silk to keep the ship from splitting in two. But his spider silk could not hold the ship. Mr. Stark suddenly appeared to help Parker save all the passengers on the ship. And Mr. Stark also used his technology to mend all the broken parts of the ship. Mr. Stark warned Parker that because of his recklessness, he almost killed many people. Mr. Stark confiscates Parker's suit as a punishment for his recklessness. That evening, Parker sadly returned home. And Parker told Aunt May, "I got fired from my internship at Stark." Aunt May then comforted Parker as well. The next morning, Parker went back to his high school life. Parker meets Liz soon after and confesses to her. And Parker invites Liz to the dance of his hometown. On the night of the dance, Parker discovers that Toombs is Liz's father. Parker was shocked, but he still acted natural. When Toombs was driving, he was always probing Parker and asking Parker, "What do you plan to do when you graduate?" But Parker said, "I'm only a sophomore." Suddenly Liz mentioned Spider-Man in front of Toombs. At this time Toombs discovered that when Parker is not there, there will be Spider-Man. When it came to the dance, Toombs told Liz to go inside first so he could instruct Parker. Toombs threatened Parker saying, "Don't meddle in my business, if you do I will kill you and the people you love." During the dance, Parker realizes Toombs is planning a hijacking of a plane that transports weapons from Avengers Tower to the team's new headquarters. Parker then left the dance. And wearing the spider suit he made himself. As Schultz was about to shoot Parker, Ned shot his weapon with spider silk. At this point Parker used spider silk to shoot him up on the car. Now Parker borrows Flash's car to chase them. Parker then asked Ned to track his phone and contact Happy immediately. Parker asks Ned to see where his phone is now. Ned finds his phone stopped in the old industrial area of Bloatley. At this moment Parker alone broke into Toombs's residence. When Parker went inside to meet Toombs, he activated the vulture suit. Toombs for the suit destroyed the supporting columns of the building and caused Parker to be buried under the collapsed building. Now Parker thought of Mr. Stark's words, "If you don't have the suit you're nothing, you shouldn't have it." This time Parker proves that even without the suit, he can still get out. When the plane took off, Toombs used the vulture suit to follow. But he didn't know that Parker was also following him. At this time Toombs broke into the inside of the plane. This time he copied the flight room feedback signal. Parker was outside trying to stop the plane. At the warning signal, Toombs was angry when Parker ruined his business again. Suddenly, Toombs suddenly rushed over and pulled Parker with him. He then repeatedly attacked Parker on the stealth plane. Parker saw the plane about to crash into the big city. Parker then used his spider silk to fly the plane down to the beach near Coney Island. Parker fell away. And the plane also caught fire when it went down. Toombs continued to attack Parker shortly after. He stepped on Parker with his foot and punched him in the face. He then still tries to get the weapon crate while his wings are about to explode. Parker tried to stop him now, but he wouldn't listen. At this time, Toombs' vulture suit exploded shortly after. Parker ran over and saved him from there. Parker next left Toombs to the police with the goods there. After Liz's father was arrested, she and her mother decided to move elsewhere. At this time Happy went to meet Parker in the bathroom. And Happy tells Parker that Mr. Stark wants to see you. And Parker was taken north by Happy to meet Mr. Stark. Mr. Stark now shows Parker the Spider-Man suit. And invite him to the superhero squad. But Parker declines Stark's invitation so he can stay underground for a while longer. And before leaving, Parker asked Mr. Stark if it was a test, and no one was behind. Mr. Stark said, "Yes, and you did." Mr. Stark then returned Parker's Spider-Man suit. And Parker put on the Spider-Man suit as soon as Aunt May walked in. The film has come to an end. Thank you for your interest and watching. This is the end of the movie. See you in the next movie. Thank you for watching the movie.